Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2. Everyone who will be joining this evening for day number 2 of our live training to be seen and heard. So we are now live. Let me know in the comments who is joining and who is excited. Hey, Julie, are you excited for day number 2? Evening number 2, day number 2. I'm excited to be here. So we've got plenty of people coming on and joining. So thank you again, everybody, for joining live or in replay. And hi, Laura. And thank you, everybody who joined live last night and again then on replay, who then followed the information that I gave them yesterday. So thank you again, everybody, for joining. Hey, Kelly. So yesterday we looked at looking at your unique experience, looking at your unique skills. Everybody's excited. I'm excited. And looking at your, oh, hey, Melissa. And we looked at your unique experiences, looking at really honing in on your passions of what you're passionate about and what brings you alive, so that really comes across when you are delivering that. So that's what we looked at yesterday. For anybody that hasn't seen it and is logging on tonight to see day number 2, make sure to go back and watch day number 1 as well, so that you don't miss anything. So that's what we looked at last night. Tonight we are going to go. So yesterday we looked at our story circle. Hey, Shelley. And we started with you. Now, this is back to front. Now we're going to go to number 2 and we're going to go to needs. That's what we're going to cover this evening. So we are. Firstly, hey, everybody joining on. And what I want to ask is, did anybody take on the challenge to ask someone in their life or at work and business between last night and tonight what they were like growing up or what they were like as a kid? Let me know in the comments if anybody did take the challenge. Let me know that if you did, and maybe let me know maybe who it was and when you did that, if you did, because there might be some surprises for you if you did take part in that. I'll give you a minute to see if anybody did or not. And if you didn't, it's totally fine. You can have, the week to be able to do it. Julie did. All right, Julie, who did you ask? What did they share with you? Did anybody else? I'm just going to take some notes here. Kelly did as well. And let me know who they were. You don't have to give names, but maybe it could be brother, sister, auntie, uncle, co-worker, someone. Oh, Kelly did this afternoon with a friend from Canberra. Thanks, Kelly. So there'll be some surprises for people that did take part in that challenge. We'll carry on more about that later. But yeah, so really in doing that, Julie did 2 friends on the phone. They had a great childhood, but very low income family. Ooh. Okay, so quickly just to ask the ones that you did do it, what was some connections with them that it doesn't necessarily mean to relate, but did you feel some kind of connection with them, and did you feel something emotional, like as in a connection with them when they did share? Because this is something I want to follow on with some other things that I'm going to give you tonight on that. Because my challenge is going to be for everybody, and I know that it was only 24 hours, but I am going to say is that I give you the challenge to start, even if it's just one person a week, is to start finding one person, what I will say is to then look at clients, past clients, current clients, customers, whether it's co-workers, depending on where you work, is that I probably would say is have a goal of starting to have one person a week of having these types of conversations with. And there's reasons around that, and this is going to help with the storytelling. So I do challenge you all to have one person to start engaging in these really curious conversations that you can have to find out more about where they grew up, how they grew up, and really get that person to really communicate that. You can also ask them who's the most important person in their life, and it could have been who was their most important person growing up or who's the most important person now. So these are a couple of questions that you can start asking, and these are really good questions, especially around your customers, your clients, and maybe past clients, and just start engaging in those conversations. And then I want you to start to review and reflect on those conversations and starting to engage around what connected with you with them. What sort of emotions did you feel? What connected with your heart in that moment? And these are things that are then going to help you transfer that over to how you're going to be able to communicate your story, your communication effectively as well. I just want to check, somebody just gives me the thumbs up, just making sure that everybody's still hearing me, making sure that I'm still connected to the Facebook Live. Just somebody give me a thumbs up in there. So those are a couple of things that I would say is that start putting into practice once a week, and think about it in a way of what you're going to gain from it is going to help you piece together what I'm sharing with you over these 4 days to be able to take that forward in there. So what we want to be looking at tonight is that looking around that need. So these are things that I'm going to get you to start piecing together around your needs, wants, and desires, as well as those needs, wants, and desires of your potential prospects, your clients, your customers as well. So what I want you to do is, and what I really want to think about is practicing that listening, practicing listening to those conversations that you're having with people. And because really great storytellers know how to listen, they know how to engage, and they know how to interact with people. So really around what I said last night around storytelling is having that two-way conversation with people, and that's what's really important that we want to be looking at as well. I'm just checking. That's all right. I just wanted to check that I was still there to see comments. So what I want to just ask before we get into that is that, does anybody, how many of you have any fears or any kind of anxiety or stress around sharing your story or sharing more about who you are and what you do? Is any of these things, and it could be maybe fear of judgment, and it could be fear of rejection by sharing more about yourself. It could be fear of success as well, but letting me know in the comments if anybody has got any of these things, because I want to be able to work on those as well. So let me know. Julie could empathize with the money but did not have the best happy household family life. Mine was an abusive one. Kelly, she was also a sibling of 3 and grew up very independent like myself. Interesting. And that's the thing when we listen to other people's stories, is we don't always necessarily connect with every single thing that they say, but there'll be parts of it. So that's the thing to think about when I'm going to be able to help you create your stories, is that not necessarily is everybody going to relate and connect with all of it, but there could be parts of it as well. Laura, yes, I get anxious about being judged and rejected. And again, everybody, that's really common and it's really normal when we put ourselves out there. We do get those feelings around being judged and being rejected as well. But I just wanted to check in with everybody so that I can help you around those things as well. Because I love being able to help people create stories and create your messages, but I also love to be able to help people to be able to help with those types of things that you might be facing as well. But just remember that they are common to have when we are putting ourselves out there. So thank you, Laura, for sharing. If anybody else does get, a little bit, you might get maybe overwhelmed, a little bit confused as well in doing these things. And again, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to be able to help you in that. But thank you so much for sharing. So what I want to do is I want you to think about is that what I want to talk about is that when we're creating stories is that we don't just want to just share stories, especially if we're coming from a place of we're wanting to build relationships with people, or you might want to do it to gain more customers and clients. Then we have to still look at it in a way of we want to be strategic around how you're sharing those stories and what parts of those stories that you're sharing. Because what we don't want it to be is about us sharing the story. We really want to be about, yes, we're sharing a story, but how can we connect, engage, and interact and help the other person by sharing that story as well. So the way in which we can start to build that foundation is that we want to have a look at needs, wants, and desires, because everybody that we speak to has a need, a want, and a desire. But everybody that we speak to and we share these things in is people are always asking, what's in it for me? They're also asking is that, make me care. Like people just want to say, make me care about what it is that you're sharing. So we want to then make it about the other person. So, and these are things that can then help with fear of judgment, fear of rejection, or any anxiety or stress that comes along with it, because the more that we can then put ourselves in their shoes about making them care, what's in it for them, and we're in it for them, then it comes across very different. So Kelly's saying prefer not to be in the front line. Yep. So what I want you to think about is that for many of you that are tuning into this live or on replay, is that by sharing your story or sharing more communication about yourself and who you are, is that for some of you it might be is that the people that you're helping are very similar to where you have been at one stage. So these are really important parts, is that you begin to be speaking to yourself, and it could be yourself a year ago, it could be yourself 5 years ago, it could be yourself 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever many years that could be. So I want you to, in whether you do it now or later, is that getting a bit of paper, and I want you to put headings that say needs, wants, and desires. Because the more that you can really get to know and know your audience, then you're going to be able to speak to their needs, wants, and desires. And that's really about listening and understanding people. So just like for many of you have had those conversations with people, you could start to hear how they were growing up, what they were like as a kid, and maybe what some things that have been affected of them. So you start to build a picture of maybe what's their needs, wants, and desires out of life, or who they are and what they do. So I want you first of all is to think about yourself. Maybe it was when, thinking about who you were before you started your business, or who you were prior to what you're doing now. For Kelly, studying, for other people in their workplace, is that I want you to think about what was your needs at that time. What were you really needing at that point in time? Because needs and wants are very different. So you might have a need to be able to do something, but you also might have a want as well. So they're two very different things. Julie, I don't have any fears now. I think when you hear my story, you will understand. Excellent, Julie. So yeah, I want you to think about, yeah, what was your needs back then? Because that's how then we're going to be able to create that story around your clients, your customers, other people's stories that you're going to be able to connect with them. So really have a think about is that you might have wanted to start your own business, or you might have wanted to overcome certain challenges or fears. So by writing down, so I'd probably say do your wants first, is that what did you want to change? So in order to make that change, what did you need to do? So a lot of times it is that we have to face those fears in order to be able to change. So you could just be is that, well, you needed to learn something, you needed to get a coach, you needed to study, you needed to move, you needed to, I don't know, get out of a relationship, whatever it was for you is what did you need to do? And then to think about, well, out of that, what was then the desires? So was your desire to be able to have your own business? Was your desire to help people? Was your desire to do something maybe for your family, for your kids? So have a think about then is that what's the desire that you had? And really start to put them down, whether it's just in bullet points. But the more you can understand you back then this is going to be able to help you be able to get to know the needs and wants and desires of the people that you're speaking to. So if anybody does want to share, and it might just be one thing, maybe what was your want, what was a need that you needed to do, and maybe what a desire is, feel free to share that in the comments. But it's something I would say is to go away and really start to piece that out. And then we're going to be able to look at the people that you're wanting to share your story is maybe what's their needs, wants, and desires that they have that you're going to be able to help them with, and you're going to be able to communicate that message to them as well. So, and just to share an example for me is that for probably, the last probably around 8 years, I was wanting to do something different with my life, and I wanted to have a business, but I didn't really know what. I wanted to be able to not have a boss telling me what to do all the time, and I wanted to be able to coach and help people, but I didn't know what that was. So even though I had probably had that one, but I probably had that was a desire more than anything else. So then I was then given opportunities, or I was given different things that I started to look at and take on board, but it probably wasn't what I needed, and it wasn't really what I wanted. So I just didn't know what that was. So then it wasn't until I came to Australia and things started to change for me. And then I started to overcome the fear of public speaking, even though I still didn't know that that was something that I really wanted, or I really needed, or I really desired. However, I think my desire to coach and help people with something based on my own past experience is that these are all things that then I started to put into place. So maybe for some of you, it might be what's that vision? What was that vision that you had, or something that you wanted and needed to be able to move past that? So once you're able to identify that for yourself, then I want you to think about is that, thanks Kelly for sharing, to be independent, to choose to study in an area that I was interested in, my desire to help myself and others, be financially independent and be happy and love what I do. Beautiful. So the other side of that is around your audience. And this might be something that I would say is to go back to your customers, to your clients, to your past clients, and ask them what their needs, wants, and desires are. For some of you, you might already know that, but it's really good to go back to those people and ask, maybe especially past clients and customers, and ask, why did you come to me? What was something that you were struggling with? Because when we get their perspective and not our own, it's very, very different, because then we're not assuming why they came to us. So we really want to find out more about where they're coming from. So then you can start to piece that together. And then what we're going to do is tomorrow night, I'm going to be able to help you really start to structure that out. So if you do have some time between now and then to come back tomorrow night with even just a few bullet points of your own and a few bullet points of ones of your clients, your customers, then we're going to be able to speak to your audience and really help them with that, and to be able to engage and connect in a genuine way that you're going to talk to your audience. Because that is the biggest gap that I see a lot of the times, is that when people are sharing stories, is that they're not speaking to those needs, wants, and desires. It can just be just sharing a story for story's sake, but it's about really putting yourself in the minds and the hearts of your audience, that they know that you've listened to and heard them, and that's why you're communicating and relaying that information to them. So Julie wanted to start my business, to start helping families, desire to study and change my life and bring my practices to help others to raise energy within our families, to flow communities out to the universe. Beautiful. Wanted to leave a legacy. Beautiful, ladies. So that's what I want you to really think about between now and tomorrow, and you know, come with some of those bullet points tomorrow night, and then we're going to be able to start piecing that together into more of your story. Let me know if anybody has any questions on any of what we have covered. I'll wait and see if anybody has any questions from that. I'm just checking my notes here, if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about. Oh, a couple of things to think about is that to think about in terms of good stories. So these are some headings that I popped down in my notes, and to think about maybe from yourself is that, you know, what kind of stories would you love to share? So they can be entertaining. So entertaining stories can be ones of engagement that spark interest. They could be educational. So they spark curiosity, and they probably want to know a little bit more about the information that you're sharing. They could be universal. So they then spark the emotion and the experience that you're sharing with people. It could be an organized story, so it's very structured and concise to the core message that you're sharing with them. And then the fifth one is around being memorable. So it then sticks in the person's mind, and they fully remember you for that story that you have shared. And all stories have that section around being memorable. However, they can be broken down into really what would be the end goal in mind around your story. By knowing who your audience is and getting to know more about their needs, wants, and desires, then we can start to look at what would be the best kind of stories for you and for your key audience. So these will be some things that I will share tomorrow night as well, and we can dig a bit deeper into what some of the types of stories that you would love to share, but also then what would be of the best interest of your audience to share as well. But let me know if anybody has any questions on anything that we have covered tonight before we wrap up. And with it, if anybody does, and I know that Laura, you've shared about you being judged and being rejected, and the more that we can gain that confidence and clarity around your message and about being able to share that, these are things that then help to reduce any types of anxiety or fear or putting yourself out there. Those are the things that are going to be able to help reduce a lot of those. But I do have other techniques that over the next couple of nights I'm going to be able to teach you to be able to help in those areas as well. But that is us coming to the end of our day 2. So again, have that challenge around, finding one person a week to be able to, and it might only be for the next couple of weeks, but just to really find out more information from those key people that maybe might be in your life, in your business, in your workplace, and really start to get curious around those questions that you're asking people. Yay, Laura, you can't wait to master it. So that's a bit of a challenge for you, is that, yeah, maybe over the next couple of weeks is to, start finding some of those people to ask questions around. Start thinking about those needs, wants, and desires of yourself and your audience. And then have a think about what's the things around why your audience should care to listen to what it is that you have to say. So we did talk about, your unique skills and experiences that you have and your passions. So think about those are some key things that can help around, why should your audience care to listen to you? So really start thinking of those things so that it is about the audience, more about your audience and less about ourselves as the people putting ourselves out there. You can't wait, Laura. Excellent. Julie, you're so welcome. I absolutely loved it as well. I love being able to share this with everybody. Kelly and Julie, I'm going to message you because I have a surprise for you for being able to for finding time to have those conversations with people around that. So that is your some things to do for tomorrow night. Come back with your needs, wants, and desires. And again, if anybody has some more time over there and you do have some conversations with people, let me know tomorrow night, and I will be messaging you with a little bit of a surprise as well. So there is still time to be able to do that. So thank you so much again, everybody, for tuning in live or tuning in replay. Please play along like it's a show. Play along. Please make sure that you do comment on the comments around watching this on replay, so that then you're going to be in it to win it, and to win some surprises that I have for people. So thank you so much again, guys. Have an amazing evening or day wherever you are, and I will see you all again tomorrow night. It's 6:30 p.m. for day number 3. I'll see you all later. Thanks, guys.